Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Oroshalin podcast. I'm your host, Oroshalin Perkins. Everybody, I hope everybody's day was going good. Before we start, I hope you like and subscribe to this content, and also shout out to the new subscribers from Twitch to Kick to TikTok, X, YouTube. Shout out to y'all. The reason why I said shout out to y'all, cause you know y'all lit right now, and also put y'all notifications on so when I do get something new, y'all be the first one to have and get. But let me see how the volume's going. Let me see. Let me see how the volume is. Yee. Uh, testing, testing, one, two, three, testing. Let's see how it goes. Mm. All right, we sound good out. We sound good. We sound good. But definitely, we're gonna Let me turn this volume down. All right. But today we're gonna do a reaction to the interview with Kamala Harris on Fox News. To me personally, I think it was a shit show. Having all those white people in one room, you know, kind of trying to dissect the bitch. The bitch is already gone as it is, and I'm gonna say that. Just having her, hold on one second. Let me hit my boy up, Bobby. I hope y'all follow my boy Bobby, man. He's out there. I'm gonna say that. My man's out there, And before we even start, I hope y'all had a great day today. My day was a little bit decent. I did a little bit of cleaning. You can see a lot of stuff been cleaned up. Still got some sneakers on the floor and stuff. I was gonna go to class today, but I couldn't make it today, man. I had so much stuff to do. I had to, get my shit together. So next week we're gonna do Tuesday. You know, Give me. Oh yeah, I already did all of that. So next week, yeah, we everything's gonna be straight. I did watch a few Dr. Umar Fatu, Dr. Umar Johnson Fatu, Umfatute, I think he says it, and I watched a few what's my man's name? Tariq Nasheed. So I watched a few of those. I was trying to catch the Star Report from yesterday. And shout out, I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Demetrius Fleming, known as Big Meech. He's out of jail. He came out of jail yesterday, Shout out to him. He did 30 years in jail. So, at least give a little shout out and say welcome back to, society. He did a lot and he did a lot for black people, you know. So, yeah, he put drugs into the cities, but he also gave back as well, But if anything, let's start the show. Let me change the screen. So this one that we have here, let me fix this because I was watching this earlier. All right, this looks better. So what we have here, man, I don't want to judge it just yet because I did see it, but I did not reevaluate. But also, like and subscribe my Cash App. Hold on, let me go back real fast. I gotta fix something. I gotta fix one more thing and we can start. Give me 30 seconds. Just 30. Only need 30. Uh, yeah, it's just I try to have the stuff ready this time, but yeah, something just had to pop up. Uh, but Kamala, man, is. I'm not saying I hope she wins or she loses. It's just like, yo, this shit is getting crazy. And when I say it's crazy, it's they're dragging black people into it. And I think this is where like black people have a problem. Stop dragging us into all y'all bullshit. Like y'all liberals and y'all Democrats. When y'all get into y'all bullshit, y'all like to drag black people into that shit. We don't want to fight your fucking wars. I'm being personally honest. Like all this stuff that's going on, I'm gonna be personally honest. It's white people problems, you know. It's not really black people problems. It's white people problems, you know. It's like black people don't care. I had to explain to somebody today, like, yo, black Americans been through fucking slavery. We've been to Jim Crow, post-slavery, greenlining, crack epidemic. The 3-strike rule. Like we've been through some shit, man, and like we don't give a fuck. Personally, we don't really give a fuck who's going to be the president because we can make it through anything. It affects mostly white people. We even went through Great Depression, you know, and it was even our Great Depression, you know. But let's watch the joint, you know.
For the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right now,
just a number. Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
So with this motherfucker right here, I hope they fire him. Like, he sucks at what he does. And the reason why I say that is you can't just cut a motherfucker off. You got to let them finish. You know, so, because you look like the shit at Revolt when they had the Black Caucus when they had Donald Trump on. They were disrespecting him, cutting him off, doing the same shit that you're doing, my nigga. And, like, I thought Fox News would have been better, but personally, if I was Kamala, I would never win on Fox News. That would be the last resort. Last resort to go on Fox News. Because they want Trump to win. They believe Trump was going to win. They're on that shit right now.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a
an
rough estimate of
system
6 million people have been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish,
You had the White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they
in the
didn't bring
middle
up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
You've got the knowledge,
I'ma
the
say
know-how,
this.
the expertise, a knack.
That dude right there, he don't respect women. I don't know about black people, but I know he don't respect women. And the reason why I say that is because motherfuckers like him, I know motherfuckers like him. You know, I used to party with people like them. They think they're superior over women. They treat women different. They treat women any type of way. They say whatever they want to women. Like, motherfuckers like him are the reason why a lot of white women goes to black men. Black men are reasonable. You know, black men always been reasonable. We don't argue like real black men, not the sensitive niggas that you have now. Like, a real black nigga ain't gonna argue with you. It's like, yo, my nigga, this is one. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be on Kick tomorrow in the morning, and when I go on Kick, I just have like little conversations and stuff driving to work. But what's different between a Myron type of man and a black man? A black man ain't gonna argue with you. A black man you would want to do anything for. When that man's hurt, you hurt. When that man's want to cry, you cry for that man. You want to do anything for that man. You don't like these niggas, these white boys on Fresh and Fit. They fighting over a nigga making, a bitch making them a sandwich. Like, nigga, why you crying over that? Let me tell you something. And this is the difference between these type of men and a black man. Black men, a woman wants to make you a sandwich. A woman wants to make you dinner. A woman wants to have sex with you. A woman wants to do all of that shit with you. Things get different when it becomes just about money. With Myron, it's about money. So they feel like, okay, you know what? I have to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. With certain women, no, I want to make that. I want to make sure my man is fine. You know, he's eating, clothes is done. He don't got to worry about anything. I want to do that for him. Personally, you don't get that shit anymore because the game has changed because of sucker niggas like Myron and Walter. They're paying for pussy, you know? Once you stop paying for pussy and doing all of this and that, women don't really want to do anything to them. They could be like, yo, I could go to this nigga who has money and I'll do it for them. They feel like everything is a job. Everything has to be paid for. Like it's a different era, man. Like all this era, this alpha male shit that niggas is talking about, that's not no black man shit. That's just white people shit, you know? And I'm just being personally honest, it's white people shit. And the reason why I say it's white people shit, white people demand that shit. White people always wanted to be in control. It's been like that since, just check history. Like even with black men, they don't want too many black men at a job because they don't want too many black people hanging out together. Don't let them niggas be smiling. White people get uncomfortable. It always been like that, you know. But let's get back to this.
Priority. That to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And
Six
Donald
Democrats,
Trump, but let me just finish.
Six Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill.
Told you the nigga keeps on cutting. He don't respect her. Fox News doesn't respect black liberal women. It's just it always been like that, man. Like conservative women and liberal women always had a problem with each other. Even at the work days and stuff like that. You got the woman that's, oh yeah, hey, how you doing and stuff like that. Like they're cordial with each other sometimes, but conservative women's like, yo, I would never hang out with that girl. She's too out there. That's a conservative woman. A girl who likes to have fun, you know, suck a little dick, you know, here and there. A bitch like to have fun, you know. So bitch be like, yo, my body, my choices, and don't think about the consequences, you know. It's just, that's Kamala. Kamala likes to have fun. Kamala likes to have certain shit, but now you're dealing with people's lives. Like, I get both points. It's just like this nigga has to listen to her. And like, I understand it's like, yo, she's babbling too much, but at the end of the day, this is what you signed up for, my nigga. You signed up to listen to her. You know, you signed up and the thing about it, this is one thing I hate. If you want somebody to make a point, you can't cut them off. And my nigga, you was cutting her off to the core. You did not like what she was saying, and you didn't get what she was saying. At the end of the day, and she's wrong, because he didn't ask her that. She's talking about other shit and niggas at the border and shit, and he asked how many immigrants that you let in. You know? And I don't even think they counted how many immigrants they let in.
And told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you,
but actually is focused on fixing it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to a lot of conservatives had a problem.
Uncle Bernie, he's an independent. Cory Booker, he declined it. Oh, Markey, that dude's from Massachusetts. Chick from California, other dude from California. Yeah. It's because they knew what was gonna do to their town, so that's why. And like, it's understandable. But like, people in Massachusetts, we don't need no more fucking immigrants. Massachusetts is so diverse as it is. We got fucking Somalians, we got Cape Verdeans, we got Dominicans, we got Puerto Ricans, we got El Salvadorians, we got Guatemalans, we got fucking Ethiopians, Jamaicans, the whole fucking Caribbean island in fucking Massachusetts. You know, it's just too many of these motherfuckers coming to Massachusetts. You know, I understand if they were in like Arizona or whatnot and shit like that. I understand. You know, and fucking Vermont, where Bernie is, it's infested with Africans. Mad Congolese up there, mad fucking Nigerians and all that other shit in fucking Burlington, Vermont. He don't want to see no more of them motherfuckers. Because there's too much of them up there. It's getting crazy.
Problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise. Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that. There is no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days.
I'm sorry to keep on cutting it off, but these are another some talking points that we need to look out for. With Kamala, and Donald, one thing I don't like about both of these, and I think they're the worst elector of all times, is that they pass the blame off to each other. And this is what really sucks. Instead of somebody be like, okay, yo, you know, this is why we're changing the policies and these bills and stuff like that. You should be trying to make a difference. If it's fucked up, blame it on fucking Joey. Blame it on Joe Biden. Blame it on him. Say, yo, this nigga, he wanted to do this, and that. I have so much control. Me, I wouldn't allow it. But I understand where he was coming from. Why? Let me tell you something. Joe Biden is about to take a dirt nap sooner or later. Let this nigga take the blame for it. If you're a real politician, if you're a real Democrat, let this nigga take the blame for it. It happened under his watch. You're just the vice president. I'm just the vice president. It was under Uncle Joe. I would have never allowed it. I'm just playing my part right now, but I know where I can make a difference at. If she would have used that, you know how many voters would have been like, yo, you know what? I think I would want her as the president. Cause that's what a leader is. A leader is a person who takes ownership of the mistake. If it's her mistake and she let the wrong nigga in, take the mistake. Like, yo, it was under my watch. Yes, I'm only vice president, but I will take the blame for it because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make this situation better for everyone.
Will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss.
We all know.
Yeah, she's showing her true colors. That's why I was saying this. She's not black. Black person would have been my bad. You know? This motherfucker don't want to take she don't want to take ownership of nothing. She don't want to take no ownership of the inflations, no nothing. And like, I get where this guy's getting frustrated at, but at the end of the day, you're a fucking columnist or a fucking journalist. Whatever the fuck you are. I don't give a fuck, my nigga. But at the end of the day, you gotta keep your composure. You can't just be cutting this bitch off. You gotta let her talk. You know, and don't get me wrong, like, you know, she might be bad as a fucking president. But at the end of the day, you still gotta make it even playing fields. Y'all was talking about all the fucking disrespect that Donald Trump got. But now Fox News is giving this bitch totally zero respect. And yeah, she probably didn't work her way up to the top, but nor did this motherfucker did either. So we're fucked regardless. And I tell people that all the time. We fucked regardless. If you're not rich, you're fucked. You know? We're gonna be fucked somehow, some way. Then this nigga's gonna be blaming Joe Biden after 4 years. Oh, this hasn't been done because of Joe Biden. Nigga, you was a president for 4 years. That's what we're gonna tell him. Now it's time to kick in the back up Joe Biden and you, my nigga. We have to, because at the end of the day, y'all was the one calling the shots. Y'all was the chump in the front. Y'all was the ones talking. And this is what you signed up for. So you have to take the criticism.
Who does not want to what is happening.
And shout out to Wiz Mason. This is one of his people. You know, she's Jamaican.
Happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in
her?
all fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration, even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question. There were 90-plus executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talk to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did.
One thing I'm going to say about Kamala, she started picking up steam at the end. She is right. That shit is a Congress problem. The Congress picks. They all pick that as a group. You know, the most will win. And she's right. We can't be like, oh, well, you know, she's not. And this is why I always tell people I vote locally. And the reason why I vote locally, because these are the motherfuckers that stick in for us. Like, what's his name? Joey Markey, I think. Elizabeth Warner. Those are our senators in Massachusetts. Is it John Markey, I think? I think it's John Markey. Like, these niggas right here, if they're not doing their fucking job, we got to get them the fuck out. And this is what we got to say. Like, yo, if y'all can't do y'all job, we got to get you out that seat. We need somebody who's going to support us. When there's decisions that needs to be made, we need a person who can make those decisions. And if it can't be you, we got to go somewhere different. We have to think differently. You know? Excuse me. Especially when reparation is coming up now. Niggas is talking about reparations. It's getting close. It's getting close where America's gonna have to give black Americans something. Not all y'all immigrants and all y'all Caribbeans and shit like that, y'all black Caribbeans, y'all ain't getting shit. Because your ancestors or your forefathers didn't build the country. It's only for the freemen. Y'all reparation was coming into this fucking country and getting SSI and Section 8 and fucking public housing and shit that you can't get in your own fucking country. That's your country. That is your country. So reparation is coming up for black Americans. You know, and I feel like, and personally, I feel like Black Americans should be the only ones answering that question.
Did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago, and I'm very clear that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again, and as Vice President of the United
She can't, the thing about it, Kamala, you can't be dodging these questions. I know these niggas is telling you to dodge these questions. You can't, nigga, Obama got away with it the first time. The first 2 times. You're not gonna get away with that shit. And it's not because you're a woman. First of all, it's Barack or Barry, that nigga had a black woman. He had a real black woman. He had Michelle Robinson. He didn't just have any black woman. He had a strong black Southern woman. A smart black woman. You got a privileged white man, rich white man on your side. That probably didn't have to work for anything. You know, you got a different household that niggas can't understand. Obama, he cosplayed the shit out of that role of being a black man. And he's a fucking African. He's a Kenyan African. And I'm going to call it as it is because you are what your father is. The nigga's a Kenyan African. The nigga could be raised in Hawaii, fucking Indonesia. I don't give a fuck where he's raised at, but his father's Kenyan. And a politician. That nigga was made to be cosplaying and fucking hustling niggas. He's African. African people in this era are scammers, my nigga. That's all I know them for, scammers. I don't know them for being no doctors and all this other shit and stuff like that. I know them for being mean to niggas and shit like that when they got higher roles. It's just you're not gonna win with this Obama shit. I'm gonna be personally honest. You're tanking right now.
United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear, and I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one right there.
Frustrated with
So
GA4? You're not alone.
Cooking. He's gonna change. He's gonna change the question because she's cooking right now. You know, one thing about it, they don't want her to get momentum, and I think that's what it is. I seen her when she gets momentum. She's decent when she gets momentum. You know, but this shit right here, it's nuts.
So decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
There you go.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
But let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara cartel to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want to.
I told you he was going to change the question. The reason why he changed the question because she gets cooking, and he can't handle it. He's not. Let me tell you something. He's not a good journalist, and I think Fox News might need to fire him. You know, it's just he sucks at what he does. He's not really that good. Like, my nigga, you're trying, but your effort is it's nothing, my nigga. It's a piece of shit. You know, and I'm not trying to kick you back in, you know, even though I should be. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this in bad faith. Like, I know she sucks as the elector, as a Democrat, but you're doing this shit over in bad faith, man. All this shit's in bad faith. And you can tell. Like, you look like the fucking devil right now, my nigga. It looks bad for you.
To stop because it's every commercial, but many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
So, are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition.
I'm gonna say this shit's crazy. It's just, like, you could tell it's her law, and she didn't want to fix it. And I think I don't even think it was Donald Trump's law. I think it was fucking Obama's law. I think Obama was making all those laws and shit for, like, transgender and all this other stuff. And I think it was very disingenuous that she was like, oh yeah, I'll follow the law. Just say, like, yo, if you like it or not. This is the thing that I think Kamala is going to lose. The reason why I think she's going to lose because nobody knows nothing about her. Everybody knows what Donald said. That's all they know, and it's not your fault, but at the end of the day, you have to answer these questions. You have to, dig deep and like, yo, you know what? I don't like doing this. I don't like this law. I'm going to change this law. I'm going to do that law. We already know what Donald Trump's law is going to do. His laws is fucked up, but we can live through his laws because he don't make bad laws for black Americans. All those laws that we had was through Obama, to stop and like he said, he gotta make stop and frisk. You have to go through Congress. Like, why are you trying to make niggas scared? Like, even with him, he tried to make you scared of your law, but you have to go through Congress with these laws.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in this presidency.
It's in black and white.
Would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassessment surgeries?
I will follow the law, just as I think Donald Trump would say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think he spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Whereas, at $20 million on that ad, on an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
on plans for the American people, I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker,
Why do you
would
think more
ignite
people
inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. Those are the facts.
Why do you think more people say they trust him on the economy than they trust you?
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as President of the United States, it has been clear to those who study and understand how economic policy works that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be, again, to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So
go to motionready.com to add this to your video, and that, and that.
So I try not to stop it because I know y'all was trying to watch more of it. But I feel like she needs to answer more of these questions, man, because she's lacking, man. She's at the nigga's not eating her food. He's just cutting her off, making himself look like a fucking idiot. I think the dude's a fucking idiot. I'm gonna be personally honest. But she's not doing a job of proving that he is an idiot. So it's like 2 fucking idiots fighting over who lost the worst. I mean, who sucks the most. Like, y'all both suck. So it doesn't matter why y'all fighting over who sucks the most. Like, this is how this conversation is, Like, oh, I'm a loser. I know I'm a loser, but you're a bigger loser than me. Like, both of y'all niggas is losers. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Like, why are you fighting over that shit? Like, this is the argument that, like, we don't need. Like, he's just saying and doing stupid shit. He has these little clips and stuff like that and not finishing. So he's basically giving a false narrative. Both of these niggas is giving false narratives. It's like one person's lying and the other person's lying from that person's lie. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't... That's why I can't be like one of these journalists. I know this girl who was a journalist, man. I was like, yo, she used to come home all the time, smoke the biggest blunt that she can roll, Because she's tired, man. This shit is tiring.
You would do differently?
So I know these niggas is probably doing a whole bunch of coke mountains and shit like that. Especially this nigga. That nigga that's a cocaine nose right there. You look at that nigga's cocaine nose. I know I got the perfect nose in the world, but that's a coke nose right there. That's a booger sugar nose. Oh, I know a booger sugar nose when I see one.
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue of small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers, and for...
I'm gonna say this. That's probably a kick in the motherfucker's face. And the reason why, because Thomas Menino used to do that. I think he used to give 50. But he gave some money. Like, he was giving money to, like, first-time homeowners and everything. That's how I got one of my first apartments, was because of Thomas Menino. You know? So what she's doing isn't really nothing. You just probably, like, you know, buying certain little things and here and there. Because don't forget, if you're going to get the loan, you should be straight. You know, you should have some type of money. Just, it is what it is, you know.
Small businesses extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years, so what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we have been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President, more than 70% of people
that is
tell
about
pollsters,
turning the page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But
people
you're the
have
lever
become.
of power.
But listen, over.
This AI tool will take your idea and create a complete book,
She's
complete
doing
design.
her thing, man. She's trying to hold it. She's trying to hold it down, but you know, it's like talking to a white fucking supremacist. You know, they're always gonna say no. They're always gonna say it's you and just shit like that, man. It comes with the territory with these type of people. These type of people are fuckers, man. You know, and. It's just,
Images, layout, everything.
No. Hold on.
Over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans.
Like, I personally wish both of them never got elected and just wish that, you know, we start off fresh, get 2 new leaders. But we got the same old bullshit. We got fucking Kamala, and we got Donald, man. And Donald, he didn't do shit. You know, I'm going to be personally honest. He really didn't do shit. Oh, yeah, I wanted to make the money on the check with my name on it. All that other goofy shit. Like, my nigga, we don't give a fuck, you know? We just want to, you know... Nigga, y'all get what I'm saying. It's just, it's nonsense. What they fighting over is stupid. Like, yeah, like, he asking what we're going to do differently. You start talking about Donald and all this other stuff. You got to stay with the point. You can't keep on making blame. We got to know what you're going to do. Kamala, this is where you fucking up at. Kamala, you need to figure out what you're going to do with these policies. You can't keep on saying, oh, yeah, he did this, he did that. Niggas don't like that, because then after that, niggas going to be like, yo, you just be looking for niggas to blame. We expect this out of this bullshit ass nigga right here, Donald Trump. That's why niggas don't believe him. Only people who believe him is white people. I would not believe that nigga that he washed my motherfucking car. My car can be detailed. We know he's a fucking liar. But at the end of the day, it's about you being looking good. Like, yeah, you didn't flip out on this nigga. I would have flipped out on him. I would have told him, shut the fuck up, nigga. Let me finish. You know? know, and niggas was like, oh, this nigga's gangster. We need a nigga like this as a president.
Who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him instead of the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigating.
This is the hot potato shit I'm talking about. They both do it. I told you. They both do it. They both have pass blame off of each other. Watch when this nigga becomes the president. He's going to be blaming Joe Biden for what this shit is going through right now. Or, oh, he can't do this. Because it was Joe. It was Biden. No, nigga. It was because it was you, nigga. You wasn't convincing. And this is where I told you, when you vote locally, you could pick who defends you, like senates and all this other stuff. Senates and representatives and shit like that. If these niggas are not doing their job and you got an issue with them, don't vote for the next nigga. And when these niggas come up to you, or when there's a city hall, it's like, yo, we don't need to be voting for you. Because you can't get shit done. Only thing you have is excuses, and y'all playing hot potato with the blame. This is all you got to say. It's not that hard. It is not that hard to do what I just said. It's just y'all niggas can't be scared out here. Y'all niggas is scary. Y'all can't... Nigga, there's certain things I like about Donald, and there's certain things I hate about Donald's policies. There's certain things I like about Kamala's policies, and there's certain things I hate. There's a lot I hate about Kamala's policies. But both of them do shit out of bad faith. We know this.
Investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that.
Yeah, white man, you're lying. You're lying, white man. This is what I tell you. These niggas lie. That's why I say, yo, you know he's an agent. Why would you go over there and try to outsmart the agent? You glad the nigga didn't pull AI out on you.
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the President of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat.
Yo, my nigga, you deserved it. You deserved it, my nigga. Told you, you did shit out of bad faith, and this is what happened. You're mad at this woman right now. You mad at this white woman right now, or whatever, white Indian woman. This white Indian woman is yelling at you right now in a proper way. You glad it's not me? I would have tore your ass a new asshole, my nigga. You fucked around with the wrong person, but she's the right one you can fuck with. You know why? Because she'll take all that abuse. Me, nah, nigga. We got issues. We got a problem, my nigga. You saying some false narrative shit, and I'm not in the mood for that. I would have been on that type of time.
To the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump. You call Donald Trump. He's misguided. You say now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff.
I just do. Hold on, everyone. I clicked the wrong button. My fault, everyone. So, I'm going to say this, and we're going to watch it from that part. Yo, she started cooking. That's why I said, yo, when she starts to cook, man, she cooks. You know, she's not stupid.
Is the U.S. government really giving away free solar panels to homeowners? Well, check this out. They recently passed a new $783 billion policy called the Inflation Reduction Act. The government launched this new bill to help fight climate change, and now homeowners are taking advantage.
They just used him as a puppet because there was nobody else. You know? It is what it is.
Book that way, yes. Let me ask you this.
Of America.
Yo, she was cooking, my nigga. That nigga looked like he was getting mad.
Said about Donald Trump being a threat.
Look how mad he is.
To the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump.
The significance of that.
That nigga cut her off real fast. He was like, yo, I can't let this bitch get cooking. It was like, yo, let's cut her down a little bit.
Call Donald Trump. He's misguided. You say now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room. And he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best, including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out, even people who work.
The nigga don't want her to get cooking. Like, and this is why I said, like, yo, I tried not to do this one. But I knew, like, people was like, yo, you gotta, my boy was like, yo, you gotta do this one. Yo, she did. Like, nigga. She was lit. Like, she was on her game plan right now. She was on, this bitch was running through the questions like Jerome Bennett. That's how good she is. You know? She's that good, but at the end of the day, these niggas ain't gonna let her get cooking.
worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Madam Vice President, two more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces, that the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
So how much did it cost to fill your tank?
Almost $100.
How much is the car payment?
$140.
And what about insurance?
$180.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the #1 threat?
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion, that Iran posed a threat to Israel. I was there. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself, and to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that
but those
is,
proxies were getting funded by
my
Iran.
commitment to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions in
Let's go back to Donald
profits.
Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's
that
administration
go towards
that
the Iran regime.
That we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention how Donald Trump has treated and talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers,
Hamas,
has diminished the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
Well, I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important...
I'm going to say that's her opinion, you know? Like, you can debate her opinion, but you keep on saying Donald Trump. I know you sucking the nigga's dick and shit like that, but like, yo, what the fuck, nigga? You know, like, come on. We can't be doing this. We gotta, you know... You gotta let her answer the questions, you know? You can't verbally attack her. You know, this isn't a great debate because... like, my nigga, look what you're doing. You're destroying this fucking debate. This is a shit show. Like, Fox News, you need to fire this nigga. Like, real talk. Like, y'all look like assholes. I don't think you should let him do one more debate. This girl, you made Kamala look great because y'all was being an asshole. All you had to do is let her dig her own fucking hole, as she been doing for the last 3 months. But y'all jeopardized the fucking the race. Y'all jeopardized that shit. And you know what? If she wins, I'm gonna say it was because of y'all. Real talk. It was because of y'all.
Contrast that is presented for folks to make a decision
and there are critics
that they feel
who look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things
There's more to say. I have much more to say,
there are a lot of
actually.
things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and
Yes.
that's why we
I
invited
invite
you
everyone
here.
to go to.
But the thing about it, he didn't let her talk about her policies. That should have been one of the questions. Like, what is your policies? We don't know what your policies is. We only know a little about that one little policy you did 2 days ago. That's all you should have done. Find out about her policies, and then after that, debate her policies. You started talking about what she did wrong, my nigga. You made her look great. Because all she had to say, I wasn't the president. I was just the vice president. You know?
KamalaHarris.com, and you will see that I have 80 pages of policies that are quite comprehensive and should be accessible to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do
And that's why
intend
we
to do to
invited you
strengthen our
here,
economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and where you are
support
now.
America's military and ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
And
they're giving me a hard rap
well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our
Hey,
hottest...
Sean Hannity, if that was you, my nigga, you need to lose your fucking job, my nigga. That was absolutely horrible. You should be in Shaq and the Fool. That's how crazy this shit was. You know, and I want to say this, audience. I'm sorry to be very judgmental. I have to be judgmental about all of these motherfuckers. And yes, the reason why, because I have no dog in the fight, so I can judge both of them. Kamala was dodging the question. This nigga, every time she did answer the question, this nigga moved on to another question. And she was explaining the question. When she started cooking, oh, let's talk about something else. You know, I didn't appreciate this, man. I felt like both of these niggas was being disingenuous. Very disingenuous. You know, and like I said, everybody, I'm sorry that this shit didn't turn out the way it was supposed to turn out. And I'm talking about awesome. But I'm gonna land my plane here, and I'm gonna say this. Fix my chair. I personally feel I think Kamala got this one. She didn't have to answer it because Fox News made themselves look. They found their way. They found out how to make themselves look like an asshole. I don't know if they got any black people in there and stuff, or any people who knows how to debate. But at the end of the day, he was the wrong person to let this guy debate Kamala. You know, I gotta call Kamala, tell you all y'all fucking weird people attacking me and shit, but I had an issue with this. I thought this could have just been a little bit more better. You know, way better. I don't know, everybody. I don't know how you see this. I don't know how y'all liked it, but like I said, I had an issue with it. I had a big issue. You know, but could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. It was a shit show. It was a fucking P.T. Barnum fucking circus. But again, till next time, like and subscribe my podcast and Send in a nice little donations. And shout out to the OnlyFans. Y'all be hooking a nigga up. When y'all get money, I get money, you know. I'm not saying y'all, you know, I'm y'all little sugar baby or anything, but y'all be hooking me up to support the program. And I appreciate y'all OnlyFans girls. I tell y'all that all the time, and all y'all other people too who be giving me money. I support y'all, you know. But once we start getting more money and stuff like that, yo, we're gonna have the shit on the fucking screen and everything. Yo, we all gonna be lit out here, you know. But yo, until next time, probably tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do another reaction tomorrow. This one right here was a shit show, but I enjoyed it. I'm gonna get back into the adult, mature content too for y'all. So definitely keep a lookout on Pornhub. I will be lit for y'all. All right, thank you. Take care, everyone.